Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. Welcome to the Sajdah channel where we talk about life, love, and business. And today we're doing part 2 of our talk on jealousy. So don't go anywhere. Be a friend and tell a friend. And I'll be right back after these few announcements.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee. And he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee. And I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who in my judgment is the master historian, taught us that of all our studies, history is the most attractive, and it is best qualified to reward the researcher. History is most attractive. Why should history be most attractive? Because history is the recorded time of the human family in its struggle to overcome obstacles. There is no life that is without struggle. The Holy Quran teaches us that man, meaning man and woman, is made to face difficulties. And after difficulty comes ease. But it is history that guides us through difficulty. For if you know how people who had difficulty yesterday got through, and if your difficulty is somewhat similar, then today we also can get through if we follow the guidance of history. This is why Carter G. Woodson and many of our black giants fought for black people to know our history. Because in not knowing our history, we don't have a guide. And without a guide, we are lost. No wonder the Bible
Assalamu alaikum, family. Welcome to the Sajdah channel. How's everyone doing this morning? I pray that you're all vibrating nice and high. And if you're not, it's okay because we'll do what we can to get you there today. Happy Saturday, everyone. How many of y'all tagged somebody, let them know we was live today? I'm working on increasing our days so we can build back up to more lives. Yesterday, we did part 1 on jealousy. Some of y'all was a little upset about that. And I don't know why. And you know what? Well, no, I know why. Because the ego doesn't want to face itself. Just doesn't want to. And a lot of people were DMing me and messaging me saying, yeah, but you didn't talk about what happens when jealous people do this or jealous people say that. And I said, because that was not what our focus was on. This was about us evolving. This was about us elevating and us moving to the point where that can no longer be used as a tool against us. Remember, we said the jig is up, Willie. Well, Sister Naseba said that at the Day of Atonement. So how do we make sure that the jig is really up? We have to make sure that we understand when those triggers occur, how to transform that energy into something useful for us, and how not to allow those scenarios to negotiate us out of our divine position with our beloved Almighty God Allah. So y'all, I know they be doing this and they be doing that, but this right here is about you and about me. It's about us being on the journey of self-improvement that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan put us on with the study guides that were revealed to him, where we went through all of this focus on self-improvement, which he says is the basis of community development. Now, I'm going to say it again. Self-improvement is the basis of community development. We're talking about helping you and I get rid of jealousy that shows up in the form of control. We're talking about helping you and I get rid of jealousy that shows up in the form of gossip. We're talking about you and I getting rid of jealousy that shows up in the form of talking negatively about somebody and cutting off their opportunities. We're talking about jealousy that shows up in the form of you ruining somebody's reputation or their impression to someone else, all because you're jealous. We're talking about jealousy that shows up in the form of marginalization. Now, y'all know in my first book, I talked a lot about marginalization being equal opportunity offender. What do I mean by that? A lot of times when people got a problem with you, they marginalize you, especially if they're in a powerful position to be able to do so. So they can marginalize you to diminish your light, to make it look like you ain't all of that, because they can't manage you. They can't control you. But in essence, 9 times out of 10, you are a gift for them. Because if they would just sit down with you and say, hey, let's talk. How can we work together on this mission? Or you have a mission, I have a mission. How can we come together? Now, that's some powerful unity and partnership right there. I'm working on this. You working on that. Generally, I may not even work with people who aren't under my control and who aren't 100% focused on what I'm focused on. But you know what? I want to partner with you. I want to help you because I believe you can help me. See, that's really how the universe works. That's how the world works. You and I are only going to get so far as rugged individuals. We have to collaborate. We have to work with people. We have to figure out how to support one another, because in that supporting, guess what? See, prior to maybe you supporting me with my mission and me supporting you with your mission before a little bit of jealousy pops up because maybe one of us gets more attention from somebody or some people than others. Before that, we're on a trajectory. We're thinking about our goal. We're thinking about our desire, and we should be in love with the mission or our aspect of the mission that we're on. We should be in love with it. But guess what? Well, because you're in love with it, you should be attracting people. Then next thing you know, you attract me into your space, or I attract you into my space. And so instead of us responding with jealousy, we should respond with mutual admiration and sit down. Because the minute you settle your vibration down and the minute I settle my vibration down and we start talking about how to partner with one another, realizing we on the same team and that we're not enemies. I mean, unless we really are, that's a whole nother thing. But 9 times out of 10, y'all probably not. Just from you settling down and supporting that person is going to help accelerate and push what you're doing to the next level. Most of the time, you sitting up jealous of me because it's things that I do that you want to do, or things that I've done that you want to done. Well, want to come pull me in, meet with me, say, hey, how can we collaborate? What can we do? And 9 times out of 10, I'm looking at you for the same reasons if I'm feeling jealousy. So this is about us. This is about not staying at the same level. This is about elevating and growing, because you know what Allah will do? He will shoot you up into many dimensions and then just sit you there. And you'll start getting sick and ugly and tired because you're going to be stagnant. There's no growth or evolution in your faith and your vibe. You don't have that conduit vibe where somebody just wants to plug into you and they know that they'll be better. You don't have that. Why? Because you're stuck on a plateau because you won't get past the stinking jealousy that's in your heart. Let it go. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It may seem like it because your ego, the ego is a stinking old thing, because the ego creates all that narcissism. The ego wants to feel special, whether it's especially good or especially bad. If you're doing something good, your phone should be ringing off the hook with people going, hey, how can I collaborate? Let's talk. Let's put something together. But if you're a jealous type person, if you got to control people, if you got to hurt people, if everybody got to look like you and be like you, sit down with somebody, talk to them about their journey, see where they are. Think about what you could learn. I guarantee you it's not one client that I coach or consult that I don't learn something from. And almost every one of them that comes to me makes me say, thank you, Allah, for bringing this client to me, this person to me, because I've learned X, Y, Z. Or I'm just grateful to be a part of whatever it is that they're doing. Honored. And look, when you get to that space where, like I told you on that video, and I lean in and tell you, and you lean into this word, and Allah starts blessing you with different spiritual gifts and sparks of spirituality and divinity and all of that stuff, you ain't trying to let that go. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Start today. I see y'all in the chat. I got a quick video I'm going to show us, but let me see who's in here chatting it up. I see you, Brother Lamont. Good morning. Walaikum salam. Happy Saturday, Mother. Welcome. Brother Lamont said he missed yesterday. He got to go back and check it out. Yes. Go back and check out yesterday, Brother Lamont. We're dealing with jealousy, not from the standpoint where we're just going to talk about jealous people, but we're going to talk about the stuff that jealous people do. We're going to figure out what we got to do if we jealous people to fix that. And we're going to talk about what we do if we are around people who are jealous so that we transform that energy, because that energy can even negotiate you out of your position of good. Let me tell you something. When I go around people, I go into a crowd, I'm floating above that crowd. I bring my atmosphere with me. I got my orb around me, my energy field around me, and I'm coming there to shed light, to give light, to do good and receive and pull good out of it and make something happen. And if you think you finna have me up in there and tear me down and pull me into the matrix, it ain't happening. It ain't worth it, because God is too good to me. I'm seeing the table that he got prepared for me, and I'm about sitting at it. I ain't got time to be playing with you. Jealousy. I ain't got time to be competitive. I ain't got time to be jealous. And I ain't got a time to deal with your competitiveness or your jealousy. So go ahead on. Go do what you got to do. Now, I'll help you. I'm good about helping you pull you up out of it if you want some help. But if you just are pathological and chronically jealous and you don't want to do anything else, then I'm not your girl. I'm not your girl. This is about love. This is about supporting people. This is about lending a hand and wrapping your arms around people who need a hug, people who need stuff. People go through things. And I know there's been times where each and every one of us have gone through something. And somebody said a word, gave a hug, offered some assistance, maybe even did something for us that we didn't even know they did somewhere behind the scenes. They might have been working in a company and they saw your name popped up and was like, what? They finna cut my girl's lights off. Oh no, not today. Let me put in a code so that she buy her some time. You never know. Or somebody may say, you know what? Wait a minute. They was getting ready to reschedule. So brother so-and-so's appointment. Now let me make sure they stay on the schedule and put this so that they got plenty of time to get what they need. You don't know who's doing something for you. Be that. Be what you want somebody else to be. I've been in positions where I've had to maybe handle somebody's account or something like that. And I say, you know what? What can I do to bless this person? What can I do? All right. And I see Sister Monica in the house. She says, Assalamu alaikum. Great and amazing Saturday to all. We say wa alaikum salam to you too, ma'am. Great and amazing Saturday to you as well. The Honorable Mr. Lewis Farr said to us, God damns the ego. That ego is nasty. And the ego is interesting because in its proper place, it makes sense. Because when we show up on the planet, there has to be some level of sovereignty over who we are as a entity. So there's that piece of it that creates the sovereignty. Oh, look at Sister Betty saying happy Saturday from the Bahamas. I ain't mad at you. Don't y'all get jealous of Sister Betty. Don't get jealous of Sister Betty because she's saying happy Saturday from the Bahamas. You just get your trip together. If you really want to go, let Sister Betty motivate you. All right. Have fun. Safe travels, Sister Betty. Have a good time. Sister Aurelia's here. She said Grand Rising from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. Sister Betty said period. Sister Aurelia is in New Mexico. I know it's sunny and hot out there. At least I hope it is. What was I saying, y'all? I think I was getting ready to show the video, right? My mind went to the Bahamas as soon as I seen Sister Betty. I was on the beach outside of the Atlanta as soon as she said that. All right. Let's look at this video. This is about us. Okay. This is about us controlling. Oh, I know what I was going to tell y'all. The ego is designed to give us a certain amount of sovereignty over who we are, right? Because we don't come onto this earth and go immediately back into source or immediately into Allah immediately. We have a journey and there's a process and there's a certain amount of will and sovereignty that we have to have. But when the ego gets manipulated by external stimuli and people get out here and start becoming narcissists, where every time something goes on, everything's about them. There's no empathy towards other people. Some people are the opposite of narcissists. They're just chronologically down and depressed, and they like the attention that being sick or sad or pathetic gives them. They like it, their ego, because the ego doesn't care. It just wants to be special. So you'll see, have you ever been in a conversation with somebody where you say, oh man, I was so tired today. And then they say, girl, you was tired. I was so tired. I had to pull over on the side of the road. You know, they make their situation so big. As soon as you express yourself, even if you express yourself to me, even if I have a similar situation, I will let you express yourself because you need to express yourself. And if I feel like I need to express myself related to what you're saying, I will do it. Or if I feel like my expression will help you to understand that maybe it's not quite all just about you. And when we dial back on that, sometimes we can decrease the vibration and things don't have as big of an impact. The Detox Man says, Assalamu alaikum, happy Saturday from Brother Alvin in St. Louis. Teach on that ego, easing God out. Ooh, yes, yes, yes. Okay, so I'm going to show you a video. And the video is purely designed to get you to focus on what you know you need to do to improve yourself. And what do we know? Self-improvement is the basis of community development. This is how we're going to crack the atom. This is how we're going to do our part to crack the atom. This is how we're going to do our part to unite with people around the world. You want to be so attractive that when somebody sees you from around the world, they should say, who is that? And how can I get to know that person? And what does that person know that I can learn? How attractive are you? What is your attraction power? Do you have attraction power? Or are you so busy trying to blend into the furniture because you're so dogmatic, you're worried about somebody saying something to you that nobody even knows your tremendous and powerful talents. Nobody knows the God within you because you don't support the God within you because you don't want nobody to see it. And then you get into this kind of pathetic space where you get used to feeling pathetic, used to being abused, used to being not seen, used to being uncomfortable. And it's just easy. You don't have to be creative because you just do what somebody told you to do. You just do what turn on TV. They say, oh, wear this outfit. And you go, oh, okay. You listen to something on the news and they say, oh, this is how this should go. And you go, okay, you don't think about it. Sister Audrey F. Young Muhammad says, Assalamu alaikum, family. And we say, wa alaikum salam. All right, so check out this video and I'll be right back. Here we go.
Everybody wants increase and abundance and lifestyle change and new zip codes and new area codes, but you only read once a week and you only work out once or twice a month. And so the reason why you don't have what it is that you see, the reason why what's in your head is not in your hands, it's not your reality, it's because your perspective opposes your potential. You don't have it because you don't see the value in it. If you believe you've been called to be the difference maker, the game changer, the disruptor, the person that comes into a room and commands the atmosphere, if you believe you've been called to be necessary and not grossly irrelevant, then everything you do, everything you see, everything rises and falls on your perspective, your perception, your viewpoint. How do you see this thing? What happens when your perspective, your perception diametrically opposes your reality? You are going to give and grow and evolve and attain and become. Everything rises and falls on your viewpoint. Show me somebody that hates to work out And I'll show you a man that almost lost his life, and the doctor said, if you don't work out, you'll die. One sees it as cumbersome. One sees it as a problem. Another one sees it as a privilege. He sees it as his second chance, his new lease on life, that I have to work out. I get to work out. I get a chance to live a little longer. So one person sees the gym as a prison, and another person sees the gym as a passport. One man came within inches of losing his life, and another man has never come within 100 miles of losing his life, and he only works out twice a month, and somebody else works out 4 or 5 times a week. The reason why you only do it once or twice a month is because you don't see the value. Your viewpoint is either your advantage or your assassin. Your viewpoint will either get you going or get you killed. I must work out X amount of times a week. I must forgive. I must evolve. I must become. I must retain. I must grow. I must live. I must evolve. I must go to the next level. I must live in this type of house. I must drive this type of car. I don't care how bad you think the shoes are that you are wearing. There is another man in this world who would kill to walk a mile in a pair that you wear. Marcus, what does this mean? This means that what you are complaining about, what you hate, what you can't stand, what you want to walk out of, what you want to give up on, there is somebody out there that would die to be in your position. And so here's what I need you to ask yourself. Is this problem an issue or is it an opportunity? Some of you, all you've been waiting for your whole life was an opportunity. What if losing your job was the opportunity? What if the divorce is an opportunity? What if the bankruptcy is an opportunity? What if the one you love was an opportunity for you to reconnect with somebody and forgive them? I need you to see the bigger picture. I need you to have a little gratitude. You need to learn how to smile. You need to work out. I know you hate the gym. I know you hate to lift weights. I know you hate cardio. I know you don't like drinking water. I know you don't like taking care of your temple. You think it's the hardest thing to do in the world to commit. But there is somebody who's in the grave today, and if they had another opportunity to live, they would enthusiastically, with great confidence and courage and consistency, do what you hate just to live a little longer. Find the positive. See the bigger picture. Guard your gratitude. The trial, the tribulation, the adversity, the giant is not your assassin. The giant is your opportunity. Are you going to complain in the face of conflict, or are you going to seize the opportunity? I don't care what it is that you're trying to achieve, what you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to give, how you're trying to evolve, what you are looking to become. Everything rises and falls on your perspective.
Let's just do it, y'all. Let's go. Let's go. Let's stop wasting time waiting for somebody else to tell us how to think, tell us how to be believers, tell us how to do good. Just stop it today. We are in a world right now where love keeps whispering. Those that believe are so silent. We're so afraid. We're so worried. But hate is loud. Hate is calling folks names. Hate is blocking people. Hate got you scared. And you supposed to be a believer. You scared of the haters. You scared of the people who ain't doing what they supposed to do. Make it cool to do something good. People should be looking at you saying, oh man, I want to be like Sister Sajdah because she works on doing something good. She dedicates her life to doing something good. I want to be like brother so-and-so because he's a top soldier. He dedicates his life to making sure that he's pushing the mission forward. See, that's what my life is about. I don't need nobody else's permission to do good. Just stop it today. Stop the madness today. Stop being a wimp today. Stop being weak today. Stop being pathetic today. See, the reason why you're jealous is because you're weak and pathetic. And what I'm saying to us, there's some of us that are good people who are weak, pathetic followers who act like we don't know nothing. We don't have no knowledge. We don't have any common sense. We can't discern. We can't critically think. We can't see something when it's right or wrong. We're too scared to challenge or ask questions. So what we do to cover up for our lack of courage and for being a damn scaredy cat, we get jealous. Well, I'm just going to hate on, if I hate on her a little harder, then maybe she'll go away. Maybe we can mess her up a little bit so that she just won't be in our face and remind, no, because you and I cannot tell Allah where to place his message. And we're not more powerful than Allah. And if that person you hating on, if all they do is just submit to the message and the mission that Allah is putting on them, there is absolutely nothing that you and I can do about it. Stop it. Get over it. And your mission, link with that person and let some of that energy, you know, there's a thing with auras where when you get around people with the right aura, it's contagious. It gets over on you. Get some of that. Go sit down with the person and say, hey, you know what? Do you have 30 minutes where I could just meet with you? Because I have something I'm working on and I just want to hear your word or your perspective and help me unlock, because I'm a little scared. Nobody in my family supports me, or nobody in my church supports me, or nobody at the mosque supports me, or nobody at school supports me, or people just don't get me. See, when Allah decides to advance you, you may outpace certain people. And then they have a choice. What was that? What was that song? You can get with this or you can get with that. They got a choice. But you got to keep rolling. You got to keep going. You got to keep going deeper into your vessels. And as you're flying high, you fly right in the middle of that blessing and look for Allah everywhere. Stop being weak. Stop being, and here's the other thing. Man, this ego is so nasty. A lot of times we start doing stuff and we start doing something wrong. And I forget what study guide it's in, but then the ego comes up and starts justifying why it's okay for us to be doing what we're doing. It's okay because, so-and-so don't do this for me. Or this and this is happening at home and my children getting on my nerves. It's okay for me to do this. And so we make excuses. We use deceptive intelligence. So when we make that excuse, we come up with a real intellectual way. We might even be able to find some kind of justification in our Holy Quran. And we go on and we say, okay, this is okay. You know if you're doing right or wrong. It ain't nobody's fault but yours. Yes, you got some trauma you're dealing with, but don't force me to deal with your trauma because you don't want to deal with what you've done is wrong. What you've done, if what you've done is wrong, don't bleed and vomit your trauma over on me or anybody else by reacting with jealousy and hatred. Look, fix yourself. Get it together. And the first part of it is to be aware. First thing, aware. All right, I'm aware that what I'm doing is wrong. Boom. First thing. And then stop using deceptive intelligence to justify it during the process or after the process. And here's another one. If you're around somebody, if it's your employee, if it's your boss, if you're in some level of authority over them, just because you see them do something wrong, do not use that as an excuse for you to do something wrong. See, this is how an organization's doing. When you got somebody who does stuff, it becomes a cancer. You can go into an environment, and when you got an owner, for example, that's promiscuous with the employees, you can see the cancer throughout the rest of the organization, because everybody in the organization will be getting down. Or if somebody misperceives something. See, this happened during in the nation when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad began to have more than one wife. All of a sudden, we never heard of Muslim men having more than one wife. All of a sudden, we don't know where this came from. And we get jealous. Folks was jealous. And so they start trying to do what he did, messing people up. It ain't for you. He didn't tell you to do it. And most of us are so studied and so learned in the Bible and the Holy Quran, we can tell you about everything else, but we get confused over that one thing that we jealous about. You know the teachings, right? One man and one woman is best for us if we but knew. But then you see this great man take on more than one wife, you get jealous, and now you want to use deceptive intelligence as an excuse for you either to go do something negative because you seeing it as negative, but it really is negative because you jealous. Or you go and try and do it and end up abusing somebody and never face what it is that you're dealing with. Don't try to the fact that you doing something shady, tie it to a bigger cause, and then people respect you, and now you've tied your misbehavior to that bigger cause, and then they're sycophants and dogmatic, so they tie the whole thing to you and your bullshit. No. It's all because you're just jealous. You want what he got. Instead of using the word that he's given us as part of that resurrection process to do two things. First off, stand up, accept your own and be yourself, love yourself. So pull yourself up out of the mud with the word, the teachings, but then make sure that you're in the resurrection business. See, when we forget that we in the resurrection business, it's easy for us to get out here and be ratchet and think we doing it in a private space. Think we got our own little private group of lost found friends that we can go be ratchet with. And then we're going to come back to the church and to the mosque and act holier than thou. We finna go get down over here at the freak off or go over here and drink and snort and then come back on Sunday and we good to go. You ain't in the resurrection business because you're not resurrecting those people by going over there doing what they do. If you met that person that's the leader of that group, the head of the freak off, the head of the party off, or whatever it is, if you met them, then they should be looking at you saying, man, I'm striving to be like her. I'm striving to be like him. And you, even if you're tempted, even if you go over there and say, man, you playing double dutch, you like, I want to get in so bad, you should remember, I'm in the resurrection business. I got to help do my part to crack this atom. I got to unite. Huh? Because what happens, let me tell you what happens when you're falling. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you've ever fallen down physically. Sometimes the fall happens quick, and sometimes the fall happens slowly. It's like you slip on some ice, and that minute you slip, sometimes you got time and you're trying to brace yourself and you're grabbing stuff, you tearing up stuff because you don't want to fall. And on that way down, it's almost like time slows. And there's that point where you know you're falling, but you can't do anything about it. And then boom, you hit the ground. And when you hit the ground, you're not really sure the extent of your injuries until you try to get back up and get in the game. When you get up, you realize, oh, shoot, I can't stand on that leg. Or, oh, man, I think I then bruised my tailbone or hurt my elbow, whatever it is. When you start trying to move again, then you start realizing, okay, I need to go see somebody because I've injured myself. The same thing happens metaphysically when we fall and being jealous and being jealous and taking all these actions to hurt somebody and marginalize somebody and diss somebody and step on their project and hope they're not successful and talk shit about somebody. That is falling. You have fallen. But you probably fell so slowly that you didn't know you fell. And now you done got up and you might have fallen and you might just be still sitting there on the ground. Once you get up and try to dust yourself off and keep going, then you're going to realize what therapy you need to go through, what aspect of self-improvement you're going to have to focus on. It's the same thing metaphysically. You've fallen if you are doing this to people. Okay? Now it's time for you to assess your injuries, put your will together, and you might even have to learn how to walk again. Meaning what? You might even have to learn how to believe again. I'm going to say it again. Just like a lot of times you may have an accident and you may fall and you got to go through the process of surgery and Allah has to work on you. And now you got to get up and figure out how to walk again, how to use some kind of crutch. You may have a walker, a cane, some apparatus that they give you to help you to walk when you fall spiritually. And I'm not just talking about you went to the freak off, you got ratchet with somebody. I'm talking about if you straight up are hurting people because of your ego, because you can't control them, or because you don't like them, whatever you're doing that is not of good to somebody, and you know that you secretly hoping that they fail and you don't have to see them again, you've fallen. And just like that person that had to learn how to walk again, you might have to learn how to believe again. You might have to learn how to rekindle that interpersonal relationship with Allah again. If you've become a polytheist where you make gods besides Allah, so the people you work with is a god, the people you go to mosque with or in authority, they gods above you. You didn't put them between you and Allah, or the people you want to vote for you, those are your gods. Whatever you've made a god besides Allah, you've fallen. We've fallen when that happens. Sometimes it's a soft little fall and you like, oh, boop. You pop on back up and you shake your leg out and you okay. Sometimes it's a hard fall because you ain't been listening. You hit that ground and you get back up, you like, ooh. Sometimes you fall, you get back up, and a couple of days later you notice, did I hurt my arm when I fell? I think so. I think I might have stubbed my toe when I was trying to brace my fall. So now you're nursing that. And Sister Aurelia said, carry a first aid kit and bandage that bruise and keep it moving. What's your first aid kit? What's your bandage? Your Holy Quran, your interpersonal relationship with Allah, your supreme wisdom, your self-improvement study guides, your admitting to yourself that you have been wrong. That's another thing. We're such liars. It's one thing to lie to other people, but a lot of us spend all our time chronologically and pathologically lying to ourselves. Oh, I ain't doing nothing. I'm just trying to do my job. It's just business. It is what it is. Anytime you start hearing those phrases, the person's a liar. Because that means that they're stepping on somebody's toes and doing something that they probably should not have done in the name of, quote unquote, getting the job done. Stop it. Stop right now. Stop right now. We may not get all the black people to unite, but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said if we would unite, it would be more powerful than a nuclear bomb. Okay, so how many people got to unite? It don't take 100 million people. It may not even take 100,000 of us. It might just take those of us who have knowledge and wisdom and understanding right now to unite and support one another, protect one another, put boundaries around ourselves. See, you got to put that ring of fire around you because the savages are going to try to come get you. If they see you doing good, they're going to try to come get you. And let me tell you, if you are with somebody that you worship because they're in authority, or you worship because they got something you want, or you worship because they in a certain position, they write your paycheck, sign your paycheck, whatever reason you're worshiping them, and you see them falling and you don't have the wherewithal or the courage to pull them to the side to say, hey, can I have a conversation with you? Because I was a little bit uncomfortable with how you handled so-and-so, so-and-so. Or I heard you say something about somebody, and I don't think that's right. I think we should try to do our part, or whatever you got to do. If you're not saying nothing, you done failed too. And you're going to have to figure out how to walk again too. This happens to all of us. Falling is a regular thing. You won't fall. The question is, do you get back up? And when you get back up, what do you do? What do you do? Let's see. Brother Lamont said, "Ooh, that ring of fire is needed." Yeah, you got to put the, savages don't like fire and they don't like light. So you have to shine the light. When the savage comes, it's like a mouse or something come in the room. You turn on the light, they running. So when the savage comes and you shine the light on them, they don't like that. So they're going to try to either put your light out or they're going to run. And if your faith is strong enough, they can't put your light out. 9 times out of 10, they can't put your light out if your faith is strong. So they're going to try it. They're going to try all kinds of things. They're going to try to marginalize you. They're going to try to talk about you. They're going to try to make it. Some people are really crafty and manipulative where they will try to make it look like a bad thing if people love you or they admire you, right? It's like people who watch a certain show, they say, that's my guilty pleasure. The reason why they say that is because they either know they shouldn't be watching it, or somebody has told them you shouldn't be looking at it, or you shouldn't like this person or whatever. And so they will pick something about you and say, don't like this person, don't support this person. And then oftentimes they'll marginalize you. And the marginalization is very painful. And oftentimes people will let that put out their light. And what I'm saying to you is light and fire. Shine light on it. Put that ring of fire around you. You walk into that room with your atmosphere and you do good. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, don't wait for anybody else to do good. You do your part. Do your part. Okay. So yeah, people, they'll marginalize you. They'll try to make you feel a certain kind of way. That's the subconscious psych op technique. See, but the real way to do it, if you are really sincere and you say, hey, what can I do? I'm in the resurrection business. I want to help people. I want to support. How do I sit down? How do we collaborate? What can we do together? I get so many calls and have so many meetings with people around the city and around the country who want to sit down and collaborate. How do we do this thing together? How do we crack this atom together? But see, the psych ops, they're not going to do that. They're going to get their little minion around them, and they're going to make sure that the people around them don't like you, don't want to talk to you. And the reason why you know this is because it might be people you've known for 30, 40 years, or it might be people you've known for a long time that you're close to. All of a sudden, they like, hey, they talk to you like runaway slaves. Hey, how you doing? Hey, like, what's that about? I thought we was, wait, huh? That's because you got some psych op in the mix that is making them marginalize you. And the person that's in charge of the marginalization is more than likely either wants to hurt your feelings so that your light dims and your progress slows, or they want to make sure that you don't take any resources from them. Look, when we go in and evaluate as consultants, I get a lot of clients that say, hey, part of our corporate governance is that we need you to come in and evaluate our corporate environment. And I've been doing this so much and so long, I could tell by the behaviors. I could tell if you got a psych ops in the space. I could tell if you got people practicing certain behaviors in the space, because I can look at the people and how they move. And then we write that up, and it's all about writing it and understanding what we call in auditing the tone at the top. So you write it, and then you go meet with leadership. And when you meet with leadership, you get a sense of the tone at the top, and you can explain to leadership. This is what powerful governments do. They have a person come in and interview and understand the behaviors of the people at the top of the organization, the tone at the top, and then they observe the body, the employees, the staff, the members, and they will help you understand how your tone at the top is impacting the behaviors and the effectiveness of your organization. Most companies do this once a year. They do that kind of an analysis where they want to make sure that they understand. That's why all of a sudden you'll see them get new CEO, new CFO, and they'll go, well, we want to, create a new energy in the organization. And they come out with new mission statements, and everything is new. And oftentimes as consultants, we're involved in helping them to develop that. But the key thing is whatever impression and tone that the leadership at the top sets impacts everything that the employees and followers and subordinates in the organization are doing. If we look at the bottom line, we look at their personal interactions with one another, you oftentimes see a lot of mimicking. So the tone at the top, and oftentimes when you're in leadership as a collective body, you don't know what your tone at the top is fueling in the body of the organization, because you've never had anybody to come in and look at it and tell you what it is. See, that's good governance. It's good business. So when we set up our systems and our business, that type of evaluation is going to be critical. You may have a situation where you may have 2 or 3 people on the board, kind of like Congress, where they're at odds with one another. And so there may have been a lot of infighting over certain issues that created certain dynamics. Well, that dynamic becomes a tone, and then that tone impacts the body. And you may just say, I don't know. So maybe we need to move some positions around. Maybe we need to make some adjustments so that people can move and still be effective. Sometimes we have boards, and I sat on one board recently as an advisor where the board members were all so busy that they became very rules driven. And so they created all of these very strict rules. that all the directors and managers in the organizations had to follow, or else. It was kind of like you followed it, or else you were fired, or you fired it, or else you didn't look like you were a team player. And they became so rigid and so strict with the rules that they passed down. And it wasn't out of maliciousness. It was really just because they had a board that was just so busy. And they like, look, we ain't got time to be babysitting. And we got to control this. They got to be doing this, this, and this. Well, what happened was their productivity had gone down in the last 3 years since they started really implementing all of these really, really strict rules. It was just too many. It was confusing. So people were afraid to act. They didn't know where to go to find the rule on this or that. You had some managers who was ruling with a heavy hand. You had other managers like, you know what, whatever, because this is some BS. I'm just getting a check. So you had this effect that was rolling downhill. And it really started because they had a board, they had leadership that was just too busy and had too much of a hand in the day-to-day operations in terms of responsibility. So they just put all these crazy rules in effect. So you had just this nastiness in the organization. And so when I go in and do that kind of evaluation, I was able to give them that report, help them make some changes, and then just checked on them just a short 4 months later, and they're already seeing an increase in the effectiveness in the organization. So, all right. Y'all got y'all commemorative Elijah coins and y'all Elijah coin blinged out sweatshirts. Use the QR code right here, that one, and get it. Make sure you support Cash App, Sajdah Enterprises. Look, we are rolling to bring this beautiful work of art, which is the restoration and renovation of the former home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It's a exquisite work of art that we are working very hard to bring to you. And I have given just about every resource and everything I have and own to this project. I'm about ready to start selling my little crystal peacock pillows and stuff y'all see here in a minute. So buy some coins, buy some sweatshirts, go out here on this QR code. I'm sure it's something out there that's within your price range that you can support. What I really want is for you all to click that link and go out, click that QR code and go out there and get you a coin. Because I want you to have this membership coin so that you can be a part of all these amazing things that we're working on to offer to you from this amazing, beautiful, sacred space. Okay, family, you can become a sponsor. Like the minister said when he called me up, I know we got other charities. We got a lot of other obligations. So your support is greatly, greatly appreciated. And it is actually something you can see. You're not just giving it because I'm telling you to. You can come past and see the progress and the work and see where your money is going. So you can Cash App, Sajdah Enterprises. You can Zelle, wendy100m@gmail.com. You can use that QR code. We got all kind of really cool products out there. We have some more He Lives Tams, but the berets that I wear, those are back. And that's there at the QR code. We got the crystal hoodies. Those are back. So there's all kind of stuff out there. Go out there and check it out. And be at the will of Allah. We'll be going live this week to show you some more stuff to get you ready to come and visit. But you're going to need that membership because we're going to have a hard time distinguishing who gets a priority to get in or not. It's going to be tough. Okay, I see a last few comments and then we're going to go. Brother Robert 11X said, please share this on your page, family. Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you. Color, music, and medicine. Yes, yes, ma'am. All right, family. I will see you all, inshallah. I may try to go live Monday, not at the 6 a.m. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Let me look at the calendar and the schedule because I'm trying to get us back to our more regular discussions. And I hope that you've gotten anything out of this conversation. If it helps you with your self-improvement process, because you know how important this is. If nothing else, you don't want to be that person. Support the network. Cash App, Sajdah Enterprises. Love you all. Peace and blessings.